Hey guys, how's it going? So, today I'm going to cook supper obviously, and I'm glad you stopped by because I was hoping you would. I mean, we're going to cook for sure, but in fact we're going to do, just like I said in last week's video, if you caught it, we're doing a Cowboy Spaghetti, which it sounds really good. It's almost like chili meets spaghetti, and with a whole bunch of flavor, but it's got bacon, it's got hamburger and onions and beans and green chilies and tomatoes and just all kinds of stuff in it. I don't think we'll be disappointed. Now, I've never made this before. I'd never even heard of it before last week, but you know, much like the taco spaghetti, which if you haven't checked that video out yet, give it a check out. That's a popular one. Lots of people have wanted to try that taco spaghetti and make it their own. That's the best part. Best part of cooking ever is when you make it your own. And real quick, that being said, if this is your first video, welcome. I hope you get something out of this. Check out some of my other videos. They're actually kind of cool, I think, but then, you know, I'm kind of a nerd like that. And if you're so inclined, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. You know, both those things get us out in the algorithm and for YouTube. And it grows our community, right? And we have that way. We have just a ton of good neighbors, you know, doing good things for other neighbors through food, right? And we can cook, we can share with the neighbors, bring some friends over, yeah, all that stuff. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. All three of those, like I said, very important. Comments always welcomed. Just be nice. Fair enough. All right, so some cool new things I want to show you real quick before we get down to cooking. This jar right here looks just like an average mason jar with some liquid in it, right? Some dirty liquid. Let me tell you what that dirty liquid is. It has liquid calcium. I learned a week or so ago that even though it is good to put your eggshells in your garden, or you can put them in your fish tanks if you're a fish keeper, to help provide calcium, usually for snails, some fish, and you'll have your plants, right? If you have a planted tank, or in your garden, you know, to give your plants that calcium. What I learned about that was, because I'm sure you knew that part, maybe you didn't know this part, I didn't. It takes up to 10 years to get that calcium to leach out of the eggshells and into your soil. So I learned how to make liquid calcium from my eggshells. It's easy. You basically take your eggshells once you get enough, which is about, in this case, 8 or 9 eggshells. You bake them, hour, 350 degrees. Stick them in a 10-to-1 ratio of eggshell, 1% eggshell, 1 eggshell to 10 parts liquid vinegar. So if you've got 30 milligrams or 30 grams of eggshells, you want 300 grams of vinegar, and you put a lid on it, let it set for a week. You know, it'll start to fizz and bubble, and once it stops fizzing and bubbling, which takes about a week, it took this a week, put it into a spray bottle, which I'm going to do here in a little bit, and you can spray your plants with it if you feel they need some calcium, or just to keep them going, you can spray it into the ground. Another thing, today's been exciting. See that potato? You're saying, Brian, it's just a red potato. But this red potato came from the garden, along with, so I can get you in to see it without taking you off the stand, all those red potatoes right there on the table that are drying. I don't know if you can actually see them or not, but there's probably about 60 potatoes there, and those all came from 4 potatoes that were sprouting 2.5 months ago, 2 months ago, in a bag that I found. So I cut them into chunks, so that way I had a sprout on each chunk, and put them in the garden. Lo and behold, 60 potatoes later, and I'm about to plant some more as soon as I find some that are sprouting. But awesome stuff. Another thing I'm working on is, hold on a second, I'll take you out there and we'll show you. I got all kinds of stuff going on. We'll do the garden first. I promise the meal itself won't take long to cook, so I hope to not take up too much of your time. Hold on for me 1 second, I'll meet you outside. I know. Followed by, here's our other project today. I'll show you real quick. That won't be ready till probably tomorrow, but that, my friends, is chicken broth. That is going to take forever. Got a video on that already. While we're out here, we'll run out to the garden real quick. All right, so we're out here at the garden. Right there is where we pulled the potatoes out of.
that is my asparagus, and it's its first year asparagus, and it's falling over. But I can't grab that out of the ground for another couple years. But after that, we're gonna have asparagus for days. And there is my tomatoes that have just gone absolutely gangbusters on me, along with some onions. See, I'm dual planting, right? I got tomatoes and onions are great bed partners, so to speak. And then over here, we've got, these are those little itty bitty green pepper plants and red peppers, yellow peppers that we put in a while back. They're growing up. I've got some peppers heading out. I don't know if you can see them down there or not. The sun is really bright out here, so I can't see very well. And this corner here is jalapeno gigantica. They get really, really big. And then right here is our regular jalapenos that have just gone gangbusters. Right there are our Hungarian hot peppers in the center. And then we got a quick break, I don't know if you can see them or not, of marigolds. Yep, there they are, growing in between. It's hard to believe those used to be bigger than the plants. And then those ginormous pepper plants right there are the sweet pepper plants that Chris wanted. Here are the cucumbers that have just gone ballistic. Down in there was some cauliflower, but I don't know if it's, yeah, I don't know if you can, I don't think you can see it down in there, but there's a couple cauliflower plants left. They've just gone crazy. And it looks like my green peppers, my green beans have not wanted to stay upright, but that is, I just got done fixing this once today, but that's all right. We can fix it again later. And then down there is where I had my spinach down below, which is coming back. I've already gotten spinach out of there. And then here are Abby's strawberries, which we've gotten a few strawberries off there for just being a few of them. Wow, that really collapsed. I gotta get out here and fix that. That's all right. That's real life gardening, right? And then more cucumbers right there. Look at all those blooms on there. Aren't those gorgeous? And then my marigolds, most important thing in a garden. They keep all the bad pests away, and but allow the good pests in to kind of help control things. And then there is our peppers, and more peppers, and we're back to asparagus now. Over here, well, in that corner over there that you probably can't see real well, is where the blackberry, basically they're sticks, one in the ground, and they'll root, and next year I'll have blackberries that'll pop up. And then over here I got some wild shenanigans going on. That is mint. And then over there, that's a tomato plant that I just threw over there. Wasn't sure if it was going to live or not. It was part of my experiment that I failed on. We'll talk about later. And lo and behold, it popped up. Right next to it are green onions, and those are store-bought. I have spent a whopping 89 cents on green onions so far this year. I had those in a jar for a couple months, and with a little bit of water, and when they finally started to fade away, I put them in the ground out here, and bam, there they are. We've got all these lilies that are coming through. I just put those in as bulbs this year. And then there is a beautiful butterfly. I don't know if you can see him or not. Yeah, I think you can. And as we go on down, just more lilies. And then I've got this tomato plant that I have no idea where it came from. I mean, it had been something I put in, but if you look right behind this plant right there, it's a giant tomato, and or tomato plant. I have no idea how, but all right, so let's head back inside and we'll start cooking dinner. What do you say? Hold on for me. Okay, so hope you enjoyed that quick tour of what I've been getting into and the garden. If you'd like to see a little more of the garden, let me know, and we can talk about the specific things I have out there if you would like. I may even just do a video on them, who knows. But that being said, now let's get down to the counter and we'll start kicking out some Cowboy Spaghetti. Hold on for me 1 second. Cast iron skillet, or a large skillet, 12-inch-ish skillet that is oven safe, because we're gonna put this in the oven.
I did up 12 ounces of spaghetti noodles already, and I got them set aside. And all I did was boil them al dente to manufacturer's instructions.
Motion detected at the back.
And put the lid on. All right, that way I've got them here for us to use. They're kind of sticking together, but that's all right. That's all right. We'll loosen them up prior to. So, next thing we need to do is heat this skillet up. Once we get this skillet heated up, we're going to take 8 strips of bacon, which I have right here. I actually have 12 because I'm going to make a little extra for French toast casserole in the morning. And we're going to make those. We're going to cook those up so they're not, to your liking. But we're going to chop them up. So you want them crisp enough to chop, but not so crisp they're burnt because we're going to put them in the oven later on down the road. So let me get this bacon cooked up, and when I come back, we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so we got our bacon done. Bacon, right there, looking beautiful, I think. What do I know? I think. So we just got on a napkin, let the grease drain off of it, let it cool down, we'll be able to handle it to chop it. So the next thing we're gonna do is, now the original recipe said to leave the bacon grease in there. I'm not leaving that much grease in there. I don't want to have a heart attack. It also said to use 90-10 beef. I don't have any 90-10, but it has some 80-20, so we're going to use that. And I'm personally going to drain some of the grease off of that also. But what I did not do was clean out the bits that were in there from the bacon. So I've got 1.5 pounds of 80-20 hamburger right here, which I need a spatula. Hold on. Got the spatula. So what we're going to do is break this up real quick. And then to this, I'm going to add 1 large onion. And I've got it finely chopped, borderline diced. You cut it how you like yours. I have to cut mine smaller. Most of the family doesn't care for big chunks of onion. But we're going to go ahead and cook this till the hamburger is browned all the way through and crumbly. And the onions are translucent and soft and looking delicious, partially caramelized. Everything an onion should be in life. So let me get this done and we'll move on. All right, we got our hamburger is brown, crumbly, onions are translucent and soft. Sorry, I got this one chunk of hamburger that just wasn't cooperating. So our next step in this grand adventure. Now, hey, let me explain by crumbly. You crumble it to your liking. If you like chunks of, bigger chunks of hamburger in your sauce, so to speak, then you leave bigger chunks. Completely up to you. Once again, you make it your own, hands down. So I didn't drain any of the hamburger grease out. There wasn't that much to drain for being 80-20, which was kind of odd, but I'll take it. So the next thing we need to do is pretty much add everything else. So we're going to start with 1 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. Now I'm using my own tomato sauce. You just buy your favorite canned version. I've got a few extra cans downstairs that I want to work through because all those tomatoes that we got going out there, I want to make sure we got room for them. Give that a quick stir in. We're going to add 1 can of green chilies, and I didn't drain them. And that's a small can. You can't find 2 different size cans of green chilies anymore, made by anybody. But if you can find them, you want the smaller can. I like the larger can. Or if you can find them, or find it, because our next ingredient is some chili ready diced tomatoes, which means it's got some chili seasoning in it. But I guess they make one that has the tomatoes and the green chilies both in it. I've never seen it other than Rotel, but it's not chili ready, so to speak. And I wanted to kind of keep it close to the ingredients list. So we got that in there, and then we got to add 1 15-ounce can of kidney beans, drained and rinsed. Now, let's say you don't like kidney beans or you don't like beans, leave them out. No one says you have to have them in there. Or if there's another bean you prefer. I'm going with kidney beans, and I had even taunted with the thought of putting it in
putting in chili beans instead. So then we're going to follow that up with 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. Get that in there. 1 teaspoon of ground cumin. 1 teaspoon of Mexican oregano. It just called for oregano. I like Mexican oregano unless it's an Italian dish. But with Mexican oregano, you want to, and this is 1 heaping teaspoon. You want to make sure you crumble it as you put it in there. It helps activate it, bring out those flavors. Go, if you've never used it before and you're using it for the first time, go a little light on it. It's very heavy. And I've got 1 teaspoon, a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. I'll throw that in there. And 2 tablespoons of chili powder. I'm gonna put that in there. And that's why I decided not to go with the chili beans. I make my own chili beans and I've got my own chili sauce already in there, and I didn't want to overpower it, so to speak. Get that all stirred up like such. And then we're gonna, we have one more thing left to add before we let it simmer ferment. We're just gonna let this simmer for about 4 or 5 minutes, about 5 minutes, and let everybody get to know each other, so to speak. We want that to have, all those flavors to combine. But the last thing we need is 4 of those 8 strips of bacon. I went ahead and chopped them up while the hamburger was cooking. Put that in there. Get that stirred in. And then we are down to just letting this simmer, and we got 2.5 more ingredients to put in, and it'll be ready to go in our oven. Now, I did forget to tell you, when we started browning the hamburger, I set my oven to 350 degrees to get it warming up. So when I come back, we'll put in the last couple ingredients and start putting it in the oven. All right, be right back. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes, as you can see, or maybe you didn't notice as of yet, but I switched out pans. That one just was not deep enough for our needs, or wide enough. So, and that's okay, not a big deal. So right here I've got about 3 cups worth of Monterey Jack cheese. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take about half of that, and we're going to put it in our dish, right? Just like such. We can go ahead and turn the stovetop off, get that mixed in a little bit, and then we will take our noodles that we've already pre-cooked, sitting there patiently waiting to be done something with. And it's 12 ounces of spaghetti noodles, almost a 1 pound box. It's kind of an odd number, but I get it, I guess. You could just go ahead and use a 1 pound box. At least at my grocery store, and it depends on whose noodles I guess you get. You get it in 1 pound or 2 pound increments. But we want to go ahead and get this in here and get it stirred up.
Motion detected.
Okay, we got it stirred up, just like such. And we'll go ahead and put that on there. No kidney bean will be left behind. So the last thing we need to do before we put it in the oven is to take some of the rest of our pepper jack cheese and spread it around the top. Now, you see mine's clumpy, right? The reason for that is because it's block cheese. Block cheese, like I've said in other videos, when you buy pre-shredded cheese, not that it'll hurt you, it's just something that I feel weird with. Pre-shredded cheese has a food grade oil base sprayed on it to keep it from doing that, from becoming one with the, trying to form a block again, basically. It keeps it shredded, and not clumpy. I'm not a fan. In my mind, I just can't get wrapped past the food grade oil, even though I work with food all day long at my job, and it's in all kinds of stuff. It weirds me out. So I use regular cheese and shred it. So we got our cheese on top of there, and then I'm gonna take those other bits of bacon that we chopped up, the other 4 strips, and we're just gonna lay that on top of it, like such. And then we just gotta put this in the oven. So let me get that in the oven real quick, and then we'll talk about what we need to do with it as we go. Oh, that's a little warm. Had to get the handle off. But the cool thing about this handle, you can put it in the oven. I could have just left it on there. I just weird about that. So now that we got all that done, let's talk about what we need to do in the oven. We have to let it cook for about 15-20 minutes. All we're looking to do, because everything else is cooked, right? Everything's done. We have nothing left to do to it other than melt the cheese that's on top and let it get a little golden brown. So that's what 15-20 minutes in the oven. Now we could have, because I saw this in some of the comments on the original recipe, put a tin foil over it for 5-10 minutes and then took the foil off of it and let it get brown. So that way they were running into the spaghetti drying out. Some people were. I don't think we're going to have that problem, but we'll see all the same. So 15-20 minutes at most till it's golden brown on top, then we'll pull it out, let it cool for 10 minutes, because that's what we do, right? We don't want to burn our face off. And then we'll serve it up. All right, so when I come back, we'll take a look at it, serve it up, and see how it tastes. Hold on for me just 1 second. Okay, so we have been out of the oven. We've been sitting here for about 10 minutes. Maybe not quite that long. I know this is still hot though, but I want to bring it up and show it to you. So that way you can see our wonderful creation there. I know that looks amazing, doesn't it? I know the whole house smells really good, and it looks like it's going to taste great. So while that was in the oven and while it was cooling, so it's edible, I went ahead and I cut up some bread for us, and I cut up some of the sweet peppers. At least I think it's a sweet pepper. It may be a Hungarian hot pepper. We'll find out. Yeah, you could just to top it with, along with some green chives. Let me show you something real quick. Oh. So you remember a few minutes ago I was telling you about, but a half hour ago, I was telling you about the green onions out in the garden. This is how they started their lives. After I bought them for 89 cents for a bundle, I just stick them in water, and I change the water out every few days, but it allows you to grow. This is all new growth. The old growth is this dead stuff right here, but it shoots out, and then once this starts to eventually wilt in about a month or so, I'll just throw them out in the garden, and then they'll double and multiply, and hopefully never have to buy green onions again. Oh, even another 89 cents. All right, so anyhow, now that we've got that out of the way, let me grab my big spoon here. We might have to use this. I'm trying to stay away from using the tongs, so make sure I get plenty of the good stuff. Because the tongs, much like any other spaghetti dish, grabs primarily the noodles. But we want more than just the noodles. We want to get some of this goodness that's in there with it, the hamburger and the kidney beans and the tomato and all that. And then we'll take some of our chives, sprinkle that on there, get a few of our peppers and put those on there. And this is the beauty of dishes like this. That's the first thing I thought of. Not only was it quick and easy to make, because we could have fried all that up while we were doing our noodles, which would have saved some time. I just did it so that way we would have a little time together, because I wanted to take you outside and show you what all we've been doing. But there, my friends, is what we're having for dinner tonight. And I think it's going to taste amazing. So let me get you up here so I can see your smiling face, because it makes me sad when I can't. We'll get you back a little so we're not right up in each other's faces. My wife would be complaining about that. And we'll give it a try, see how it goes, right? I know it looks really, really good. I can't wait.
Not bad. I think next time I will go with my chili beans and not the straight kidney beans, because I don't think it has enough chili flavor to it. Maybe some smoked paprika. But all in all, that's good. I'm not hating on it one bit. Yeah, I think I'd throw some smoked paprika in it, and that would be it. Yeah, in my chili beans versus just straight kidney beans. That to me is kind of boring, and I thought it might be when we went into it. But anyhow, give us a try. Let me know if you do. So leave me a comment down below. Hit us up on Facebook, Mr. Smith's Kitchen's Facebook group. Leave a comment there if you'd like. Tomorrow, we are going to do a Mississippi mud pie. I know I mentioned it yesterday with, or last week with that, and it still holds true. I think it's gonna be awesome. It's Oreo crust, it's a chocolate pudding, it's a whipped topping, and it just got all kinds of cool stuff. A brownie bottom on it, brownie base. So we'll get into that tomorrow, but give this a try. Like I said, let me know if you do. I don't think you'll be disappointed. I don't think your family and friends will either. So till tomorrow when we do Mississippi mud pie, I love you. I love you very much. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I appreciate the fact that you take and give me the one thing that you can never get back, and that's time to hang with me while we cook dinner and good conversation. Tell somebody else you love them, and that you love them very much. They may need to hear it. It's going to make you feel better to tell them. And if you make some of this Cowboy Spaghetti, I guarantee you'll have a good evening of conversation about how great it is, and that could lead into all kinds of other stuff. So until tomorrow for Mississippi mud pie, I love you and I'll see you then. All right? Bye.